So can you talk about like getting stabbed in the foot?
Oh, that was a good one. So I had I'd gotten stabbed a couple of times, but that one was really interesting. That guy ended up writing a letter a year later and giving me his coin, his sobriety coin. So we're talking this guy, older guy, probably in his late 40s or 50s. And I say older, I'm in my mid 50s. But for me at the time, I think, in my late 30s or early 40s. He was a heavy, heavy drinker, lived in an apartment complex, but it was more of a like a duplex type thing. And we get this call, this woman screaming, "Oh my God, this guy came into my apartment, um, busted in, took all of his clothes off, sat on the couch. She bolted out. We get there. I'm there with my dog. It's burglary, which we thought, right? Not really understanding the clothes part of it. But when somebody's all, fucked up on drugs, we've seen all kinds of things happen. So we get there. I'm there with my dog. Make all the announcements, make sure it's all recorded, make sure, everything's being done right. I've got my backup, all people I love working with. So I feel pretty secure about it. And I send my dog in. He latches onto the guy in a room that turned out to be her arts and craft room. And there was arts and craft stuff everywhere. Well, she also did leather work. So she had what's called a leatherall or a leather punch. And it looks like it's got a wooden handle and it's got like a shaft of a screwdriver type thing. You punch right through leather. During this fight of me trying to get my him to the ground and my dog off of him, he had grabbed that leatherall and just jammed it right through my boot and foot. And I didn't know. It's close quarters. I've got my cover officers in there. I've got my dog controlled. They bring this guy out. He's laying in the living room. He's naked, right? So, like, it didn't occur to me. The guy's naked. He doesn't have anything clearly on him. So, but I had gotten punched through the boot. So they take him out. The fire department's putting him in the, ambulance with the other cops. And my sergeant walks back to me and she looks and she's like, "What's in your foot?" And I looked down. I didn't even know, but he had punched a leatherall clear through my foot. Luckily, it had only taken just like, it was a superficial wound at best,
Mhm.
as Monty Python would say. It was bleeding and stuff, but it's not like it was right through the center of the foot. It edged it,
Mhm.
just took a chunk off my foot.
Yeah.
And I looked down and I was just like, "Oh shit." Not, and the fire guy comes over and he goes, "Yeah, you should have that looked at." And so that's how that went down. But this guy thought he was so fucked up on whatever he was doing, dope and alcohol, that he thought he was in his own house. He thought it was his apartment. And he did live fairly close by, just not that one.
Yeah.
And so a year later, I get a letter and this little package in my box, and I open it up, and it's him thanking me for how I treated him. He apologized at the hospital. My chief showed up at this call because the dog got him pretty good. And he apologized, said it was completely his fault, and was worried about my dog. Is 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 your dog injured? And I'm like, "Well, I am, but that's fine. Yeah, the dog's fine." And really good guy, really nice letter. And inside that box that he gave me, which I opened very carefully, so it wouldn't explode, was his coin
Wow.
of sobriety. And I worked for a couple more years after that, and I had seen him a couple of times just on patrol, and he was clean and sober, and that was it for him. Um, I guess that was the clicker. Finally, I get that was his rough bottom. So,
Getting bit by the dog
yeah,
and stabbing your foot.
and
Okay.
stabbing a cop. I mean, he could have gotten some really, really hard time, um, but I think it was his attitude and probably his lack of major criminal history,
Yeah.
and the fact that it was a cop that he actually assaulted. I mean, let's face it, it's Alameda County. Who cares what happens to the cops?
Mm.
So, and that was kind of the attitude, but